Welcome to the My Brain, My Happiness podcast. My name is Joe, and on each episode, it is my goal to spread awareness on mental health. No, I'm not a therapist, a psychiatrist, or a medical doctor. I'm just a guy who has had a lifelong relationship with mental illness, specifically OCD. Together with you, I want to blow the roof off the stigma that comes with having a mental illness. You need to know you're not alone. I promise this podcast will be upbeat and positive. My goal with each episode is to make you understand that you don't have to take this on alone or in silence. Now let's change some lives. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 13 of My Brain, My Happiness. You know, today I want to talk a little bit about physical health and what it's done for me with my mental health. And I have talked about this in other podcasts, but I've never really focused on it. So, in June of 2022, I weighed 260 pounds. And I had just finished volunteering at the Travelers Championship. I live in the Hartford area, so I go to that golf tournament every year, and I volunteer on one of the holes. And so there were 2 long days of standing up. And by the end of the second day, not even by the end of the second day, probably by the end of the first day, my knees were throbbing in pain, throbbing. And I had, gutted it out the second day. And then on, over the weekend, I usually go to the tournament as a spectator. My wife usually comes with me. So we went there on, I think it was the Sunday, the final day. And my knees hurt so bad that I couldn't even carry in like my folding chair. And that's the one that's like, in the actual pouch or whatever, you put it over your shoulder. Because the weight of that hurt my knees so bad, my wife had to carry in my chair for me. And I was embarrassed. I felt horrible. And I decided that it was time for a change. I had tried everything to get my knees to be better. I was living off Advil, chewing them like Tic Tacs. And I was putting all kinds of cream on my knees. I was trying everything. Nothing would work. And I decided, man, I'm at the time I was like 52. I'm like, I can't live my life like this. I can't do it. So I looked into some programs, and I looked into one that one of my friends had recently done at the time, and it was Noom. And what Noom does is it helps you kind of change your relationship. They're not sponsoring me, by the way. I'm just telling you what I did. Noom, it kind of changes the way you think about food, right? So they break food up into color categories. So, your good foods. First of all, they say no food is bad food, right? But they break it up into green foods, yellow foods, and then your orange foods. It used to be green, yellow, and red. But they didn't want red. It symbolized bad, right? So they decided to change red to orange. And it's like a psychological thing. And that's how this works. And they encourage you to weigh your food and to weigh yourself every day, count your calories. And the goal is to basically burn more calories than you take in. So I just started by counting my calories. That's how it all began. And I realized how much food I was eating a day. I was eating over 3,000 calories a day. Easy. Probably some days were probably more than that. And so as I was keeping track of that, I realized that, okay, now I need to start burning more calories than I eat. Well, I was in a lot of pain. So I decided, well, I'm going to just start by walking, right? That's how I'm going to get this going. So I would start to walk, and I can remember if I could do like a mile a day, and that's not even at once. Like I would get these 10-minute walks in throughout the day. And, I had my Apple Watch. And so I'd keep track and look about how many calories I was burning. And I'd be like, all right, I can't eat more than that amount of calories today. So I would just make sure that I stayed on that trend. And then what happened was, measuring food, people think of that as such a daunting task. And it's just not. It's not a daunting task. It's easy. And so, you get yourself a food scale and you basically just weigh out what you're eating. I also learned about caloric density, getting more bang for your buck is the way I put it. So, if I could have say 5 ounces of steak and 5 ounces of chicken, that 5 ounces of chicken are going to be a lot less calories than the 5 ounces of steak. So what I was trying to do was find big portions, low calorie. Does that make sense? So, I could eat a whole bunch of chicken for a low amount of calories and fill myself up, or eat, a big salad with chicken on top of it, or, what have you, low calorie dressing. I eat a lot of yogurt, Greek yogurt, because I'm trying to get all the protein in that I can, vegetables, things of that nature. And so you will start to learn the foods that when you eat, you get full from. You're more satisfied from those things. They are higher in water density or higher in water content, and they have a low caloric density. And so as I started doing that, the weight started to come off, right? And then as you start to see that improvement on the scale, you just get into it, right? Once those numbers stop dropping, you just get motivated and you keep on going. But here's the thing about losing weight. You can come up with, I can't tell you how many people I have talked to that come up with excuses. Oh, I just love food too much, or I love pasta too much, or, I don't know, I could never do that. I snack. My problem is I snack too much at night, and, whatever their fucking excuses were. And listen, I'm not here to judge you, and I'm not here to decide what you should do to be a healthier person. But I can tell you, for me, both of my grandfathers died before I was born, right? Now I have 2 kids. I have a son who's going to be 30 this year. I have a daughter who's going to be 26 this month. And they're both, my son's married. My daughter is involved with this guy. And, I'm assuming that eventually I'm going to have grandchildren. Well, I want my grandkids to have a grandfather, period. I mean, I just want them to have a grandfather. And I want to be around for them. And you don't know how many years you're going to live, because everybody's got an expiration date. But the thing is you want to try to live as many quality years as you can. So if I'm lucky enough to live to 85, I would love for those 85 years to be quality years. You can't help it if you get some sort of terminal illness like cancer, or what have you. But I try to do whatever I can to keep my body in shape so that as I age gracefully, right? I age more slowly. And another thing to add to that is strength training. I mean, I lift weights 3 times a week. I mean, I got this Nautilus piece of equipment, and I just do kind of a upper body workout, 3 times a week, just to make sure that I do the compound exercises. So I do chest presses, and I do the chest flies, and I do lat pull downs and back rows, and then I do some concentrated stuff, like some arm curls and some tricep pull downs, things of that nature. And it just keeps my muscle mass in check. I'm not looking to build. I'm not looking to become Hulk Hogan or whatever, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, I'm 55, and yes, I could build muscle. I could get ripped, but the amount of discipline that takes is well beyond what I want to do. Does that make sense? I could do it. I don't want to do it, because I really believe that if you really want something, you can achieve it. So I can tell myself, look, I don't want that. I would love to have a 6-pack ab and all that, but I don't want to put the work in to do that. Do you know what a person who has that really low body percentage and the six-pack abs, you know what they put themselves through? I mean, that's not always healthy. Believe it or not, you may see somebody with like really low body fat percentage and they got the ripped abs and all that. But what they did to get there, a lot of times is not a healthy option. They, starve themselves or living off protein shakes or whatever it is they're doing. So I just basically, this is what I do. And this is all I've done for cardio. Now we're in 2025, right? So in July of this year, I will be 3 years into this quest, right? Now I'd lost up to 80 pounds. I'd gotten from 260 down to like 180. Actually, I dropped down into the 170s. Now I've put about 10 or 15 pounds back on, but I've been cruising at around 195, 193, 195 now for quite a while. And I'm pretty comfortable at this weight. And I walk every single day. And the benefits of walking are through the roof. And I'm not just talking about burning calories, which it does, but I'm talking about what it does for your mental health, what it does for cutting down diseases across the board. You literally will cut your chances of getting anything if you get the right amount of steps in. And you know what? It's not even that many steps per day. The average American isn't even walking they don't even walk 4,000 steps a day. And all it takes really to get some benefits from it is like 6,500 to 8,000 steps a day. And you will get returns on your health because of that. Now, once you get past like 12,000 or whatever, the rate of return on that is, as far as that health benefit goes, is not as high. It kind of levels off, but still you are burning calories. So I try to walk anywhere between 10 and 15,000 steps a day. I always get 10,000 steps a day. Most days I'm around 12 or 13,000. Now in the summertime, that's higher because I play golf and I walk when I play golf. So I just try to get as many steps as I can per day, and I make sure that it's always at least 10,000 steps. That's all I ever did for cardio. So I didn't go to the gym and spend hours on the treadmill. See, you don't have to look at this as a daunting thing. It doesn't have to be. It's not even hard. The thing is you have to want it. You have to want to do it. People are out there looking for their quick fixes and their fad diets. And the problem is once you stop doing this shit, you put the weight back on. This has to be a lifelong change. And once you make that change, it becomes habit. And once it becomes habit, then it's ingrained in your everyday life. I basically eat chicken or pork every night, right? And then my wife and I go out to dinner every Friday night, and I get whatever I want. Now, I will admit, as of lately, I have probably been snacking too much at night. So I want to drop, I weighed in at 195 this morning. I want to get back down to, into the 180s. I'd like to get back down to 185. Really, I'd like to get down to 180 again. So I know that I need to put that extra effort in. Now, I know that's going to take me probably eating somewhere between 1,400 and 1,600 calories a day. I was doing that no problem before. Right now, I'm averaging probably between 2,000 and 2,200 calories a day, which is fine. That, they say the normal American diet, standard diet is like 2,000 calories a day. And according to my watch, I'm burning more calories than I'm eating, but I'm really not losing weight. So that tells me I'm really not burning more calories. The Apple Watches, they got an accuracy percentage, I don't know, plus or minus, I don't know what they said, 10, 15%. I don't even know what it is. But there is, it's not really a true, it just gives you an idea, right? And I use it more for just, looking at my activity for the day, making sure I got my steps in. I don't really count on how many calories it says I burned. However, I think it's great because it keeps me in check, keeps me in line. So you have to believe that you are worth it, right? Believe that you're worth it, and you have to want it. You cannot wish your weight away. You cannot outwork a bad diet, and you really need to be, you don't even have to be that disciplined, but you have to be somewhat disciplined. There are plenty of foods out there that you like that will be healthy for you, that you can live off of. You don't need to eat that big bowl of ice cream every night. You don't need to eat that half a bag of chips every night. It's hard to stop doing it. I get it. But you don't have to give them up. I gave up nothing. I gave up no food, right? There was nothing that was part of this Noom diet that said you can't have. I ate whatever I wanted. The thing is that when I was losing the weight and I was seeing that was working, I didn't want this shit. I didn't want the shit that was bad for me. It slows me down. It makes me not be able to focus as well. It makes me sluggish. I just don't feel good. If we go get Chinese food the next day, I feel like ass. Like I just feel awful the next day. But I love ice cream. Whoa, sorry. I love ice cream, and I probably ate way too much of that this past summer. So I need to get control of that. But in any case, that's all I wanted to kind of tell you guys about today. If you're looking for any kind of nutritional tips, I do have my nutrition life coach certification. I'm not a nutritionist, but I can definitely help you get on some sort of plan and get going in the right direction. I'm here to help. If you guys want to email me, I'm at Dillon, DILLON.joe3, the number 3, at gmail.com. Just send me an email. Tell me what you're looking to do, and maybe we can come up with a plan. I'm not going to charge you. I'm not out here to make money off this. I just want to help people. I'm trying to spread the message of mental health, and I'm also trying to spread the message of being physically fit, because I want you guys all to live a long, healthy, happy life. This is Joe. This is my brain, my happiness. Thanks for listening, and have a great day. Oh, yeah.